Recording. Okay, so now we are recording this. I'm so happy to know that you all are here. And I see that Anish is asking, why am I the only one with a camera on? Sometimes because of internet connectivity, it's not always possible to have the cameras on where everyone is. But hopefully y'all are here with us. If you can't have your camera on, that's okay, but please do stay present, okay, and engaged in our conversation. So I want to note that our chat today, if you're typing to each other, is whole group only. And also I want to encourage you to please put away your phones. And we're not using WhatsApp at the moment, and doing things like that. And please stay present, as I mentioned before. Think of this as the same time when we're in a session at UNR. We need to treat it with that same respect. We wouldn't be on our phones, right? Okay. And if there's something you don't understand, write that down, tell someone after that you didn't understand it, and then ask for clarification. And because this is recorded, you can also go back and watch it, okay? And then lastly, I'm going to really recommend that you take notes during this session. That will help you to stay organized and on track. So does everyone have everything they need to take notes and hopefully has silenced their phone and put it to the side, okay? And I'm so happy to see you all and that we're able to be here together. So thank you for joining. Let me just double check that everyone is in. Okay, I don't see anyone in the waiting room. Okay, so I wanted us to start with kind of like just a check-in and follow-up on how, if anyone is experiencing some reverse culture shock, and how the adjustment back to your home communities is going. Let me let in Bansari. Okay, so we're going to start kind of with a conversation about that in breakout sessions. All right. So we're going to be in groups. Let's see, we can have me, Sarah, and Stacy. So we'll actually wind up doing 3 groups. Okay. Breakout groups. Assign automatically. 3. Okay. And because the purpose of this conversation that we're going to have in our breakout groups is about how's everyone adjusting to being back, I did make some guiding questions for you, and I just put them in the chat. So this is what you are going to be talking about in your groups. These aren't, you don't have to answer all of these, but these are to just give us a frame of reference. And we're going to spend about 10 minutes on this. Okay. Live transcription enabled. Sure, I think we can do that. Okay. All right. So these are the questions that I want you to just consider. I put those in the chat. Let me create our groups and we'll take 10 minutes to talk about this. So Sarah, Stacy, and I will take care of 10 minutes and then I'll bring us back. Let's make sure. Okay, I'm going to do this and just. Okay, we'll do that. And then I need to go to that room. Okay. So please go to those rooms. Okay, hi. So this is the participation part. So we're gonna need to turn on those microphones.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Adam, I can hear
Okay.
you. And I just wanted to see, let's see, Bansari, Kendra, Cookie, are you with us?
Hi.
Hi, how's it
Hi.
going? Let's see, Celia, hi. I'm so happy to see you. Cookie, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. So we definitely want to make sure that we are all working on these questions. So tell me a little bit, like how is readjusting going?
Hi, everybody. So
Hi.
when I got back to home in Reno, I actually thought I was sick for a couple days because I was just so wiped out.
Okay.
But after that, I was totally fine, and I just miss you guys. But besides that,
Okay. So you got kind of tired and sick. I think that happened to me too, actually. I went to go visit my parents and I was like, don't talk to me. I need to sleep. Yeah. What about, Kendra, you said you miss everybody. What else? What do you all miss about AYLP? Anything?
Yeah,
Maybe.
personally, I really miss the vibe we had. Like, it felt like we were all brothers and sisters, so I miss that.
Okay. Adam, do you have anything you kind of want to add using those guiding questions?
Yes, I wanted to add like I miss those outdoors activities we had when we were in the Sierra Nevada journeys and stuff. They were marvelously amazing. And actually, I miss all of you guys. And I mean, what proves this is that the moment we got back home, we started planning when will we meet again, like before October 15th, because we were so excited to.
Yeah. I'm really glad to hear that you are all excited about it. I'm excited about it, and I think it's definitely, we're going to answer some of the questions that you have today. So that is part of our purpose of our discussion. Yeah, let's see. Bansari, do you have anything you want to add? Like, what'd you tell your family? What was the debrief? Oh, you look like you're somewhere. So if you can just listen and you can't talk, we understand.
yeah, I can talk. So basically, when I got home, I kind of just I feel like I kind of isolated myself from people and kind of just focused on, especially like the first few days, I did really talk to a lot of the Algerians through WhatsApp and like Instagram and texting. Because I don't know, like after being with them for like 3 weeks, it's kind of like hard to like stop talking to people.
Mhm.
And like the whole sick thing, I'm pretty sure I also I'm still kind of sick. And like after I took a vacation, I took another vacation and I got sick then too. And everyone's been sick. I don't know
Yeah,
what the cause of it is, but
it seems like that's definitely, I mean, I think that's something that's pretty common is because you're pushing your body so hard. And then once it finally gets to relax, it can be really challenging. But I definitely, how many of you have stayed in touch or kept talking to people from the program so far?
Me, like we're still talking.
yeah.
Good.
Till
We
now.
speak
Yeah.
every single day in our groups, in our Instagram chats. Yes, we do speak.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a really good thing. I'm happy to hear that. I think that's a really important thing. So I am curious about this one question here, like what feels different and what surprised you since you've come home? Do you feel like exactly the same person?
Of course, though. Because we're doing a lot of activities. We used to wake up early. We used like to have fun. We used to have a lot of informations in one day. So it felt so different, like living a routine in your house and you're not doing anything. Just you're not taking any informations. You're not doing any activities. You're not with a lot of people in the same place. So it felt so different.
Yeah.
By the way, I slept for a week and I started my life after a week. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's because you stayed up late. Okay. What about your families? What did they want to know and what did you tell them about?
They wanted to know about everything, literally. They keep asking questions, and I mean, I can understand. We told them about literally everything we've been through, like our friends, our experience in there, the activities, about the managers, you guys. So yeah, they were so excited about hearing about everything.
Okay. Well, yeah. Does anyone else have anything they want to
Don't forget
say?
the food. Don't forget
Oh,
the food, Adam.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yes.
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Like they kept my mom because she cooks. She kept asking me about your food.
Oh, okay. What did you tell her?
Everything. Everything I ate.
Okay. Good. So does anyone have anything else they want to like say or talk about in relation to readjusting and how it's going? Is there anything we can do to support you?
Take us to Luli.
To what? Lily?
Lido.
Lido.
Oh, Lilido. Mais non, I'm not sure. But okay, so we have that as Lilido is the hotel, right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
hotel in
Yeah.
Algeria where you all stayed.
Yeah.
So Bansari and Kendra, I think you're getting ready to go back to school, right? On Monday is when you start.
I actually start in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
same.
2 weeks.
We have 2 weeks still.
So how are you all feeling about going back after what you did this summer? Do you feel ready?
I feel like I'll be a lot more patient with the people around me, but I don't really want to go back. Summer's nice.
Okay. So a lot more patient. Bansari, what do you think? Any differences when you go back?
Especially like today, I'm at school for like an orientation for part of my club. And I already noticed like I have kind of like stepped up and kind of taken a leadership role, which the club is basically about, but still, like having and talking to all the freshmen and giving them tours was like it's like challenging, but I don't know, like I feel like super at ease about it, and I'm like talking to them and I'm telling them where everything is.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I think that's interesting to hear that both of you are already like gonna be more patient, stepping up. I think maybe the leadership aspects are maybe you'll see them this year. And that's something like Adam, Celia, and Cookie. I hope that you also try and be reflective about it and see how are you different and how are you the same. So I'm going to have to close all of our rooms. We're going to go back to the group and let's get going with our next part. Thank you for doing this kind of like just check in. And I hope you keep doing this with each other. I'm so glad I got to see you all kind of in a smaller context because the rest of our program today is going to be answering a lot of questions and being together. But I'm so happy to see you all on this small little scale too.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
So we've got 1 minute, so please just go back to that main session, okay? Hi, Hamza.
Hi,
How's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. We just finished doing our kind of like our check-in. How are we doing on reverse culture shock and adjustment, seeing how everyone is doing. And then we're gonna move on with the rest of our meeting. So that's
Okay.
kind of where we're at.
So you're now in groups, or this is the whole group?
So everyone is rejoining back to
Okay.
the main group. Yeah. They should be coming out of breakout groups now
Okay.
because they're closing in
Nice.
Oh, is
7.
that Hamza? Is that
Yes.
Hamza?
Yes, he is.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Hamza.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so everyone should be coming back now. Let's see, are we all here? I think we are. Okay, so as you notice, we have gained Hamza. He was so generous to come and to this meeting because we're going to be talking about projects today. For the American participants, I'm not sure that you know Hamza, but he works with ABCD, which is our partner organization in Algeria. And he's doing a great job of helping with projects. So he's an excellent resource on that. And we'll talk a little bit more about his role. So if everyone who's in here, just go ahead and remember to keep your microphone muted when you're not talking to make sure it's easier for all of us. Okay. So the next thing on our agenda is just to briefly touch on yearbook. Stacy, would you like to do that?
I would, but I would really like to take a minute to, if you guys could type in the chat, what's the main difference you see after AYLP? Because I think you guys might have a lot of commonalities. So what's the main difference that you notice after AYLP about yourself, about your environment, about your family, how you're feeling? Can you guys just type that in the chat so everyone can see?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy.
Lack of cool people around me. Type it in. We should have 15 responses. Tarek and Wahil, you guys have to both type one. So like, what do you mean, Sampo, like that people aren't engaged and interested or aren't like thinking in the same way that you're thinking? Is that what you mean by lack of cool? Not like nobody has their Jordans.
Okay. Yeah, this was something that I think my group talked about a little bit too. But we also talked about in interesting ways how people were considering stepping up, which I thought was cool. Yeah, okay.
Great. Like you have the power to do more to help your community. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that one.
Yay, the goal.
Thank you.
Good job, Cookie. Figured out people with the inability to locate themselves.
Okay, so like maybe understanding themselves.
You're able to do the things you expect. Yeah. A great impact on my personality, more brave and social. English is improved. You have to change your whole social life at school. How, Anish? Now the days aren't programmed. Do you want us to tell you stuff to do? Ah!
I'm ready. I'm here for that. Get ready.
Everybody wake up at 7:15 a.m.
Oh, Bansari, I love this, that you're more confident in stepping into roles. And Lue, I think this is a good one as well. I'm seeing kind of like a reoccurring theme here of being capable of doing change in your community.
That's amazing. So for those of you who are feeling like, maybe the people in my friend group or the people in my community don't understand me or respect me in the way that my AYLP peers did, are you also feeling like, oh, but I can make a change? I can, do things for my community, and that might be fulfilling. I can maybe find a different social circle that's going to be more fulfilling. So are you feeling hopeful?
Good. And I think one thing to maybe keep in mind as you all are going back to school is that the people at school, remember, didn't have those same experience that you did in AYLP. And this is something that Stacy and I talked about when we did the reverse culture shock debrief on our very last day, is to try and remember, like, to be patient and kind with those people and also with yourself, because you changed maybe in a massive, intensive way over a month and somebody else didn't have that same experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that might make it hard for you to understand them and them to understand you.
So if you are, so a lot of people in my group said, and then we see this a little bit here, I feel more responsible. I feel more capable. I now believe in my capabilities to do things, which you guys have said with the projects. But my group was saying, I am more responsible. I am more disciplined. I respect time and I use my time in a different, like, wiser way. So that was really cool. Or is anybody feeling that too? That you're thinking a little differently about time and how you use it and how you can influence, like what you can use your time to influence or do. So I just want to reiterate, if you guys are feeling down or like you're not fitting in or you're not, you're having difficulty being understood or people aren't as interested in your experience as you thought they might be, then I really encourage you to reach out to each other and reach out to us. Ooh, I love this. Yes, I discovered that 24 hours are enough to do what you want. I love that. Somebody once told me, and this is kind of cheating because Beyonce has like a bunch of people that do a bunch of things for her. But
Yeah.
Somebody once told me Beyonce has 24 hours in a day too. But also she has all kinds of people that are helping.
Yeah, she's got a lot of people.
Yeah.
All
right, cool. So yeah, reach out to each other, look for support. Looks like you guys we're always here to talk if you want to. Let's move this along to the yearbook. All right, so raise your hand if you are like, yes, I know my day, I'm ready to go. Woohoo! You can just raise your hand with the raise your hand function. Anish is like, meh, in the middle.
I love Anish. We're still using what we did for AYLP.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
Does everyone know where the raise your hand feature is in this? Because I only see 4 hands raised. If you don't know how to do it, maybe Tarek has a hand raised? Unsure.
Maybe, uh-oh.
Celia's clapping. Okay.
It's in the reactions. So if you hit reactions on the bottom, it's going to come up as like clapping, thumbs up, crying, hand raise.
Because I don't know how to do.
Okay. So we've got mixed results in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay.
Olivia, do you easily know where the yearbook page is? I seen yearbook would help, but it did not.
Okay, what we can do is resend out the specific days after this meeting. But do you want to talk just a little bit about like the format and the deadline?
Okay, so you guys get 1 page, one, not 1.5, not 1.25, not 3, 1. And what you're going to do is send us a PDF of your page. Okay. So with your day, you are going to make, so I'll show you some examples. Oh boy, hold on. Let me unblur my background.
I think what I'll have to do is take pictures of those examples and send them.
I will unblur my background.
Okay.
So this is an example of one of the days. They have at the top what was happening on that day, what they learned. So this, because we had a larger group, this was somebody who went to an association ahead of time and did their page on that. We don't have anybody that's doing that, so don't worry. Our first page is going to be this one, where see the person put, oh, it's much harder on this side. This person put the date at the top. They put what was happening today. We arrived in Algiers to do the pre-departure orientation. We all met each other. My favorite part of the day was blah, 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 blah. And then Mira put her name down here. Okay. So this is just so we can remember the day. You don't have to put every picture that was ever taken that day. You can put your perspective. You can put what we did. Oh, look, there's me. See, I have been to Algiers. So here's the next day. Again, we have a date, so we know which day it is. And then the person wrote what happened that day, how they were feeling that day, what they learned that day, and then a couple pictures and their name. Okay. So you can get as creative as you want with these. You can put as many pictures as you want. You can use any kind of format that you want, but it has to come to us 1 page with the date and your name and pictures and a description of the day. Okay. But you guys have creative liberty. Again, remember that we're not, so here's one that kind of just turned out as just like a conglomeration of pictures with a little description at the top, right? You can ask others for pictures if you're like, uh-oh, my day was this day and I didn't happen to take any pictures. So you can put out a message to the group and say, can you guys help me with pictures? If you got a weekend day, because some of you got Saturdays and Sundays, so just describe what you did on that day. So this person said, oh, I went to the Railroad Museum. I went to Virginia City. I went to a party at someone's house and we played volleyball and played in the pool. So this is your day, what you did on that Saturday or Sunday. Okay. Perfectly fine if it was just you and your family. Okay. Are there any questions about what you're doing for your yearbook page? We are sending out again the assignment with your date that you're going to do. Again, you can reach out for pictures. You can reach out to us for pictures. If you don't quite remember what we did that day, we can send you a digital copy of the program book so you can look in and say, oh yeah, we did a session with Amber and then we went to the Pyramid Lake, right? So yes, thank you. That was what I started to say, Sample. You're reading my mind. Yes, we don't want to publish any LGBTQ because we don't ever want anybody to be in danger in Algeria, because this looks like it's promoting LGBTQ rights in any way, because that is something that is illegal in Algeria. Hamza, is there anything else you can think of, imagery that shouldn't be published in a yearbook besides LGBTQ? That's been the thing we've run into in the past. And be very mindful of getting permission to have people's pictures on the page. So if you have a picture of one of our lovely ladies and they are wearing a swimsuit or they are wearing short shorts, please contact them and ask, is it okay if I have this picture of you in the yearbook? Are you comfortable with me having a picture of you in a swimsuit in the yearbook? So we want to respect people's bodies, respect their privacy. Your parents will likely want to see this, right? So think of images that you want parents to see. We will be sending this to your host families. Okay, so make sure that it is appropriate for your host families to view, for Todd to view, for Amber to view. This is going to everyone who is associated with the program. So you guys are getting a copy, but this is not just for you. This is for the community at large. So please make sure images are appropriate, what you write is appropriate. We would love if you would include your host families in the pictures so that they, even if it's just, hey, and then I went home and did this with my host family, right? That's part of your day too, is that you went and did that thing with your host family. So include what you did with your host family. Include, oh, I had pancakes for the first time in my life this morning, right? That would be wonderful if we had in mind, oh yes, this is also going to host families, to Todd, to Amber. So include a picture of Todd if you can, include a picture of Amber, write about what you learned. Okay, any questions about what is appropriate? Hamza, is there anything else we should avoid that you thought of?
I don't think, besides like the LGBTQ thing, like I don't think, as Stacey said, like to auto censorship, like think about the people who's gonna see it and what are the things that you wouldn't like them to see.
See, Louis has his hand up. Do you have any questions, Louis?
No, I don't have anyone.
Okay, all right.
He was just saying he knows his day. Woo! High five.
All right, I love that. Cookie, do you have a question?
Or he was dancing.
Oh yeah, actually, I was going to ask you, what are we gonna do with this yearbook? I mean, what are you gonna do with this yearbook?
So the yearbook, we actually make it into a physical book. We get copies printed, and then they're distributed to the home hosts, to our community partners. I think each get a copy. And also in October, if we are able to get visas to come to Algeria, then I believe we would bring copies for each of you during that time. So that's what's done with these. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Olivia, would be any like digital format available online, like for everyone to download or something? Like, would it be out there, or it would be shared only with the people who are in the book?
No, this is shared just with the people who have participated in the program in some capacity. So for example, that's why it's shared with our home hosts and things like that. It's not for full distribution. It's just for those of us who have been part of it. Does anyone else have any questions on this? If you do, oh, go ahead, Adarsh. So Anish, you will be getting just the hard copy. Okay. And if anyone does have more questions about this, you can email them to AYLP Youth. Okay. We want to make sure that we're being mindful of our time and make sure that we're getting to your questions about projects and details on that as well. Okay.
And guys, so this is going to take a while for us to publish because we have to publish so many of them. So I would love to have a deadline of August 30th.
Yeah.
So that we can put, because once we get those PDFs, we have to create the cover, the context, the back. We have to put all the images together. We have to make sure that they're the same files. So August 31st is your deadline on that, please. And this is something that you were aware of since the very beginning of the program. So at least you're aware since months ago that we were going to do this. So you have just under a month to do it. And if you can't meet that deadline for some reason, let us know and we can work with you. But we would love to have all of those by August 31st so that we can compile the book and make it quality and make sure that we are able to get copies to you, hopefully when we get our visas to Algeria and travel there.
Okay, I think we're good on this part. I think we should move on to projects. And when we were in our smaller breakouts, I heard that everyone came back full of energy and was so excited about this and happy to be working together. And some of y'all dove right in. And I'm so happy to hear about that and hear that you're excited about your projects. We just wanted to define things a bit more and provide some guidance and kind of a framework that might help you move forward. Okay. So one of the things that we noticed is that Hamza has been getting a lot of questions regarding projects from our Algerian participants, and I've gotten a few questions via email to AYLP Youth, as well as one update. Thank you for the update. So I did want to address some of these. With these questions, some of these questions have been, will we receive funding or grants for our project? And this is something that has never been part of AYLP, and we do not have the ability to provide funding for your projects. So that is something that we cannot do, is provide grants or funding. We definitely can provide assistance and guidance and support in the form of advice, helping you figure out how you need to move forward, but this does not include money. Okay, so that is one of these. And I know there were also some questions on what kind of support can ABCD provide for projects, and can credentials be used from ABCD? As a reminder to our American participants that may be working with groups that include Algerians, ABCD is our partner organization, and Hamza is here from that. Hamza, would you care to answer those two questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. So first of all, I'm going to start with the funding thing, because I think there has been maybe misunderstanding, because I know that some participants came back with the idea that they're going to be funding. So I would like, if any one of you, like I'm talking to participants, you have a specific question or you're confused about something, it's the moment to talk about it. Just raise your hand. But as Olivia said, like we never gave funding for follow-up projects. About the ABCD role, so basically I received a lot of questions from people who wanted to do to collect funds and to collect items from sponsors, and they wanted to address like sponsors and all of that, and they needed like an entity to do that, like in the frame of an entity, like an association. They asked me if they can use the name of ABCD, like many of you asked that question. First of all, just to be clear, in Algerian law, it is illegal to collect funds, like money, direct money from people. Like to go to a shop and put a box and ask people for money, that's illegal. So even as an associate, and it's worse when it's an association because they know who's the entity to come for, basically. So that's illegal and you can't do that. And especially, and even it is worse since you're minors, because we might just be like pushing you to bring us money, or it can be like, it can go like really, it can escalate like the story. So I really advise you to not try to get money. And that has been always the case with all the projects. Like, think projects that are doable and you can do them, and you don't need that much of okay, that you need, that you can achieve with the resources that you have. Now the role of ABCD, or me personally, because even the support I provide, it hasn't to be in the frame of ABCD or anything. Like, I have a lot of contacts in Algeria, for example. I've been I think Cookie or Sarah who reached out, and they needed like a venue. I think Sarah, I think she reached out to venue. That's easy. I can do that. I can get you a venue. Maybe not on all wilayas, but I can get most in most wilayas, or I know someone who knows someone who can get you a venue for free to do training, like an association or something. We can use American corners where there are American corners. The US Embassy have been always like very helpful and supportive of the program, so they can give you the American corners for free. I can hook you up with trainers. Like, if you need trainers in any field, you can come to me. I know literally everyone in civil society in Nigeria in every field. So just come, Hamza, we need trainer this date. And they're gonna come either on Zoom, or if it's in their wilaya, they're gonna come in person, and it's gonna be for free. I can myself be a trainer if you need me and if you want me. So I can do some sessions with you for free. So we can also, if you need like a partner in something, like if you need an association in your wilaya, like to do the project that you need, we can also connect you with our partners. Like, I know associations in every wilaya, so I can personally call and send you. So it hasn't to be like very formal or like in the frame of ABCD or partnership. Just ask me. Like, I've received a message about the venue. She said, I think it's Sarah. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Sarah, you're the one. I don't want to check my messages. And she said, I went everywhere. We've been running from one place to another for a month, and we're tired and we can't find the venue. And I said, you should have asked since the beginning. So before starting to do anything, just come to me. Hamza, we need this. Can we help? And most probably I would be able to help. So if you have any question about this, just go ahead now. Maria, yeah. Go ahead, Maria.
Yeah, actually, no, yes, I already think about money. So,
is it just me, or I can't hear you?
And now?
Yeah, now it's better.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already think about money. So I have some idea. Can our projects in AYLP be profitable?
No. That would be a business. That wouldn't be an activity, like development activity. But profitable in which way? If it's social enterprise, maybe we can do something. But if it's strictly business, no, that would be a business.
No, it's not strictly business. It just use this money in the product to get more people and to do more. I said that the money that we get from our product,
I can't hear you.
It's the same product. And now.
Maria, you may have to type your question. I think that might be
or maybe because there are a lot, every group has a project, and each project has its different contexts and different needs. You can reach out to me directly as a group with questions, and we can do either a Zoom call group by group, to help you shape it maybe in a way that can be doable. And so I will be happy to work with you like on developing like the implementation phase of your project.
Well, and I guess the question that would be important for everyone to know is, because it sounds like what Maria is doing is making applying the tenets of social entrepreneurship and making her project profitable so that she can continue to sustain the project within the context of Algeria and within the context of the age of the participants. Is that legal?
Yeah, it's illegal. And plus you will need a lot of registration with the tax services, and with the, like, you need the registre commerce, which is the business credential. So you can't just start a business like this, even if you were an adult, and even worse, you're a minor. So you don't even have the right to do that.
So you cannot, so what I'm hearing is, in general, no project can make money. That would be illegal. So what we would love to see is that you start to think about how your business can be a social, or how your project can be a social enterprise. And then when you're 18 and you're able to get the business licenses, the authorizations, then you can turn it into something that is legally profitable. But at this point, you collecting profit, especially if you mention the name of ABCD in any way, is completely illegal. So please do not mention that you are doing this in affiliation with ABCD, because ABCD could get in really big trouble. You don't work for ABCD. You are not affiliates of ABCD. You are not associated with ABCD. Okay, so please do not say that you are doing anything in the name of ABCD. Okay, understood?
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely some additional questions that would be very helpful for everyone. So one thing, I love that you are all thinking about these and you're thinking big, but on the other side of that, one of the things that we really stressed during the program was that your projects need to be the right size, right? The right scale. Because these need to be completed by the 15th of October. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind is it going to be possible or feasible, for example, to implement it in every wilaya by the 15th, or for my US participants who are working by themselves, or if you're not working with Algerians, is it possible to implement a project in every school, right? That's the kind of thing we're talking about here. So as you're doing this, I want you to be really mindful of the scale of your project. I'm not saying don't think big, but I'm saying think of big for later. Because right now, this needs to be something that is manageable. And if you can implement something on a small scale, it's possible to replicate, right? To create it again and then scale up once you have seen how something works when it is smaller. So that's something I want you to keep in mind as we are doing this. And another thing that I want you to keep in mind is really being mindful of what will you have accomplished by the 15th of October. Okay. Because when we say your project needs to be complete, what is it that you will have accomplished? What is the deliverable that you will be able to show when you give a presentation? And we'll talk about our presentations in a minute. Okay. And we definitely have some things that will be helpful here. of talking about how you're going to get to that point with your group. But I do want to look for a minute at your, where is it? Okay, so I sent you all a link to project groups. This was a spreadsheet. And you were supposed to put in your project, your group members, and your project description. Thank you to everyone who did this. Hamza, do you have the link to this? I think I sent it, but I can't remember.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I was talking to Tarek on the phone.
Oh, okay. Do you have the link to the project groups Google sheet that I made?
It's on I think it's on the email, on the invitation email.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you had it. Okay,
Yeah,
so just checking. All right, so with this project groups spreadsheet, I did notice that there are people who are in multiple groups and who have multiple projects. And it's great that you have a lot of ideas, but at this point, you need to be in one group doing one project. Okay, and it's great that you want to be working with multiple people and providing help and support. But at this point, you need to be in one group with one project so that you can really focus on that and devote your time to it. So this needs to be, this is part of stepping up, because you can't be a good teammate and a good leader if you're spread in too many places, especially because you're going to have other obligations coming up. So this is where you have to make that decision. And also needing to make a scalable thing. You may have to adjust this when we're talking about what is the deliverable, okay? And what is the scale of this supposed to be? So, from looking at this, I see people that are in several places, working on several projects. So this is something that not now, because we're in our meeting, right? That means phones aren't out and we're not working on this spreadsheet right now. I can see that y'all are looking at it. So make sure that you're paying attention to our meeting right now, okay? Let's be on the same page. So this is something that you're gonna need to go back and maybe revise or talk up to the group mates with, all right? So we've got that. And now I want to talk to you about kind of next steps. How are you going to move forward? Because we've told you, you need to scale it back, the things that you cannot do. We cannot provide the funding. Hamza has talked a lot about what can and cannot happen in Algeria. And let's now talk about how is this going to be organized. So I'm going to put a document in the chat for y'all in a minute, but let's take a look first. Okay, so let me share my screen with you for a minute so that we can review this. Of course, it doesn't want to share. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Let's make this happen. Okay, can everyone see this document?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is a document that is here to help you. Think of this as a template of next steps and how to move forward. Okay, this is something that you are going to need to work on with your group mates, and you are going to, once this is complete, you are going to email it back to AYLP Youth. Okay, so this is a deliverable. This is your plan, and you are going to have to email this back to us. And let's just go through it. You're going to have to put your project topic, your group members. Remember, you are only in one group, okay? And then the problem, issue, challenge, whatever you want to call it, that your project is going to address. Okay. This is something that maybe the sessions with Amber are very helpful with in identifying what this is, think about what did you learn in those sessions that can be transferable as you're trying to complete this. Remember to be specific here because you're trying to scale your project and it needs to be done by the 15th. How are you going to address the problem you've identified? And what change is your project going to make in this area? I want to see the group members again. I realize that you've put it right here, but let's make sure that here you're putting the roles as well. Okay, what is the role of each person? Okay, so what are they going to do? And then how is the group going to communicate? You all are not located in the same place, and you need to have a way that will be able to do clear communication in a timely manner so that you can have good communication and move forward on your project. One of the things that can be challenging is when nobody replies, right? So you're going to need to make sure that you're communicating well. And then I'd like you to set up a meeting schedule. What day, what time are you going to meet? Maybe you're going to need to have multiple meetings. And what is the topic of each of those meetings? So for example, today, our topic was about a check-in and then mostly about projects in general. But you may have a meeting setting up what your locations are going to be, what supplies you need. Think about this in terms of what you need, okay? You also need your deadlines, and then the deliverables of what happens on each of those days, what steps you need to take before you implement. So for example, I think that somebody's project was to do a community garden. That's what they want to do when they plant that garden, right? But what are the steps that that person needs to take before that can happen? So this is what we're talking about here. And then this is something that's really important. Remember when we did those site visits, we went to the Discovery Museum, the Eddy House, Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful. This might be, you want to reach out to them and talk to them. I know at least one group has already done that. Think about what community resources do you need to talk to get information or advice before implementing? And what do you want that conversation to be about? Be prepared for that. And this might not be one of the organizations that we visited. Maybe it's someone in your own community, or maybe this is a place where you need to talk to Stacy and I, or to Hamza to be like, I need advice about this. Who can I talk to?
And I'm just gonna pop in for a minute because I bet that many of you are asking, wait, what if I'm doing a project by myself? Olivia,
thank you.
Group. Okay, so remember, you have those options that we talked about to do the project by yourself, where you remember how we talked about then you have control. You can do it on your timeline. You don't have to coordinate with people, and you're not building some of those team building skills that you may build if you're working in a group with more than just yourself. Okay. So consider, again, what is best for you? What do you want to learn? Is it best for you to do this by yourself, fill this out by yourself? It is okay if you are on the, oh, Maria was reading my mind. Good job, Maria. It is okay if you just put, I am the only group member, right? But make sure that you considered, can I get this done by myself? Is it feasible for me to do this by myself by October 15th? When I say by yourself, I don't mean we're going to abandon you and we're not going to help you figure it out. But are you going, the work that you have to do, are you going to be able to do that by yourself before October 15th? And groups need to consider the same thing. The work that you are setting out to do, are you going to be able to split that up amongst your group and do the communication that you need to do and meet the amount of times that you need to meet before October 15th? So a couple things, October 15th is your deadline. If you want to finish this by August 30th, before you go back to school, that is perfectly fine. that would be amazing. Then it's off your plate. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to try to do this and coordinate when you're studying for back, when you're in your classes, right? That is perfectly fine. However, it has to be completed if you're doing individual, group, but with 2 people, with 3 people by October 15th. So if you are, and then I wanted to mention, you guys are reading my mind today. Sampo was asking if you're doing 2 separate projects, you've already started action steps. So we are going to highly encourage you to pare down to 1. You remember we talked, as a leader, you have to make tough decisions at times. You have to decide where your energy is going to go. You have 24 hours in a day, period. And you have to fill that with taking care of your body, hanging out with your friends and family, studying for your back, going to your classes, sleeping, doing any of the other activities that you need to do. If you're trying to then do things for 2 different projects, 3 different projects, 4 different projects, are you doing any of those things well? Are either of those projects or any of those projects, do you have the capability? Do you have the time? Do you have the energy to make sure that you do your project well? Okay, the last thing we want is that you are like, I'm going to do these 3 projects, and now they're taking over my life, and I can't sleep, and I can't eat, and I'm so stressed, and I'm unhealthy, and my mom is saying I need to drop out of AYLP because I'm spending too much time doing all these things. Okay, this has happened before, that parents have emailed me and said, my child can no longer be a part of your program because they are spending way too much of their studying time doing their projects. Okay, do not put yourself in a position where you cannot do the things that you are already committed to do. So right now you're in the summer. Again, highly encourage you to get as much done, if not finish your project by the end of your summer break. Then you can fully dedicate your time to that. It doesn't interfere with school at all. But for most of you, you're going to have to juggle those things. Do not put yourself in a situation where you have set yourself up for failure. Okay.
So yeah, and I think also with Sampo, you're saying you've already started to and you've taken action steps. That's amazing. And I think sometimes I do that too, because I'm like, oh, I have all these things, I'm gonna do them all. And when I do that, one thing you can do is to be like, okay, which one of these can I do by my deadline of October 15th? And which one can I put a pause on and then come back to that? And that's a choice that you get to make of when you can come back to that in the future. And it may not be because you're doing a project for AYLP with that second one that you've already taken steps on, Sampo. It might be because it's something that you're just passionate about. And you can address that when you have time in the future. Mm-hmm. So I don't want you to think of this as like, when you pick one, the other one is gone forever. Bye, don't ever get to see it again. That's not what we're asking you to do. Okay. And thank you, Stacy, for identifying that I did put group members in all of this, even though I had seen that many of you are working individually. So if it's something that says group members, you can just put your name. And then for communication, for in that section, you can just put like not applicable or something like that, or like talking to myself, whatever you want to put there. Okay. So And then I just want to make sure that we finish this out and make sure we discuss these last couple points down
Okay,
here.
can I answer Maria's question?
Oh yeah, I didn't see she
Is
put
it
one.
okay to do our projects with other people as a group who are not participants in AYLP? Absolutely. If you want to work with other people in your community, other youth, other adults, if you want to join forces with an association, if you want to get together a group of your friends to do something so that you get that group experience, but you can get it in a place where you're all together physically, absolutely. You can do projects with someone who is not in AYLP. Just know that you are responsible for making sure that this happens by October 15th. So imagine that you get a group of your friends together right now and you say, okay, guys, we're going to do this thing. And then school starts and they go, ooh, Maria, this is too much work. And let's just do it in December when we have vacations. And that's not an option for you. Okay. You have to have a project, a product that of something you have done for your project by October 15th. Okay. So in that case, you would have to continue by yourself. Also, no.
Sorry, on that point, as I said, we can connect you with trainers, so you'll be working with other people. If you need volunteers, I highly encourage you also to reach out to other alumni, like the previous alumni for AYLP. They've been through this. They have a lot of them have even social enterprises and projects. They can provide you with connections. We can put you in contact with them. So especially if you need volunteers, I would say, it hasn't to be friends or people that you know. You can just reach out and ask for, I need 5 volunteers this day for this activity. And I think, Stacey, are they yet in the alumni group, the U.S. Embassy alumni Facebook group? Yeah, so I'm going to work on that to be so you'd be added like as soon as possible. So you can just post there, I need this thing in this wilaya, and there are hundreds of alumni that would be very helpful. They would be happy to help.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
I want to add one more thing about doing a project with a group of people, with another association, with another trainer. It is not an acceptable project if you see, oh, this association is doing something, I'm going to go volunteer with them. And that's my project. Like, I wanted to help cats, and that association is doing this day where they're helping cats. So I'm going to go join a few meetings, and then I'm going to do this thing where I help the cats. That is not an acceptable project. You have to be involved in the planning. Okay, so you can work with an association, but you need to make sure that you're also learning. And the reason that we want you to do this is so that you learn the lessons that you need to know in order to do a project. If you just join in on one day on a project that somebody else coordinated, did you learn project planning? Did you learn how to recruit volunteers? Did you learn how to get through possible failures? Is that project yours, right? So you can absolutely work with other people, but you cannot just join in at the end product of someone else's project.
And I do want to circle back for a minute to our American participants, because I know that y'all are starting school in a couple weeks. So this is going to be overlapping with your school schedule a little bit. Let's stay in touch about that and just make sure that you feel like you're balancing your demands of your school workload versus what we're asking you to do. I'm very happy to help plan with that and help you coordinate with that. And I think what Stacey is talking about with the associations, think of those again as nonprofits in the United States. So what Stacy said there really does apply to our context here in the US as well. Okay. So just to wrap up on this document, and yes, this will be sent to you via email, so keep an eye on that email, is the when and where will you implement your project also needs to be included, and how will you measure the success or the impact of your project? And that's really something that you get to decide yourself. And this is something that we can talk about more. So we're going to, come back to this, and we're going to talk about this later. So I think we're going to move on from this document here. Stacy, is there anything you think needs to be added to that? Okay. And that's a document that's kind of designed to help guide you. And that's not the be all end all. If there's other things that you want to put in there, if you need to attach additional pages, great. I love the part where I get to watch you plan and watch you be organized. So please go for it. Okay. With this document, we are going to have a deadline of when you need to have met with your group and be working on this. I think we're going to need this back by, I'm going to say, do you think, Stacy, the 21st of August would be enough time? I can't hear you.
I was thinking 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that would be, I think, the 21st. So we could do the 18th.
Well, and if it's the 21st, that gives you guys a little more.
Yeah, let's do that.
It is the 21st, a Monday.
That's a Sunday. So that would give 2 weekends to be able to do this. And then I can look at it first thing on the 22nd and then get feedback to you. So I think that's how we're going to have to do it. And the reason why is because if we don't start to think about this and actually meet and plan, then what happens is a month goes by and then you're meeting for the first time. And I know that a lot of you have been talking already and working on this already. So we want to help you keep that momentum while also giving you an appropriate amount of time. So it's going to be that document that I just showed you. You're going to need to email it back to AYLP Youth. One person from each group is going to need to email it back. I only need one per group or project, if that makes sense, if you're working alone. Okay. And that's why it's really important you include all your group members' names there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And guys, again, these are the absolute deadline. You can turn it in. You can get with your group right now and figure this out and turn it in tomorrow.
I would be thrilled if you turned it in early.
And we will give you feedback as we get these in. So if you're like, wow, we're ready to go, let's do this now. We would love to have the feedback now so that we can start. We will absolutely give you the feedback as we get them. You do not need to wait until August 21st. But by August 21st, we need to have that in our inboxes. So we encourage you, the quicker you do this, the quicker your project moves along. And the sooner you are done while you're still taking.
Uh-oh, Stacy, your internet's failing. Uh-oh, can you all hear me still? Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on to our next document because I realize we're going on a long meeting and I want to keep everything going. So I'm going to look at.
I'm sorry, Olivia, because I really have to go now.
Okay.
So
I'll make sure you get copied on this.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm just gonna say bye. I'm just gonna ask, since you're all of you here, I'm gonna ask you, please, when you need something with your project, I'm happy to talk to you on Instagram, messaging, whatever, but please send me an email. That would be better for me to follow up and to remember, because usually I receive voice notes and I forget, and I save a lot of them like all the time. So just send me an email. And when you ask for something, please also send me date and context. What is the project about? What do you need it for? Okay, that's all. So bye, take care, and hopefully see all of you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you, Hamza.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, something really weird just happened with my Zoom. Okay, I think we're okay. Yep, it's fine now. All right, so can everyone see this document? Can I get a thumbs up? If we can see it. All right, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Anish. Okay, so this is about your final projects to give us some context. So your final projects, here's some important deadlines. Actually, let me add, oh, I can't add it right now because it's screen sharing. Okay. You need to be completed by October 15th. That's the latest, right? That all of your project needs to be completed. Okay. I would like, if you're doing a PowerPoint for your presentation, I'd like it to be finalized and emailed to AYLP by the 22nd of October. That is the last day that that can be finalized and emailed to me. And the reason why it's a few days before you're presenting is because I need to make sure everything is in order. I need to make sure I have the tech to be able to have you present. So this deadline is also a hard deadline, okay? By the 26th, you need to be fully prepared to present your project by yourself or with your group. Just fully prepared and ready to go. And the dates that you're going.
You are Algeria.
Yeah, we're gonna, yeah. And then the dates for presenting are going to be the 27th through the 29th. And I do not know what day you will be presenting yet. So it is required that you are ready to go the 26th so that you're ready for anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
we will not, if you, oh, I didn't, like, we will say, okay, you today, or, you know, Adam, you're up. You are presenting today at 4 o'clock. You cannot say, oh, I was planning to work on it tonight and I was hoping to present tomorrow. Is that okay? No, I know Adam won't do that.
And I'll say no.
Yep. Now you're presenting now, because we don't. Another thing, you guys, is think about how you want other people to show up as you are presenting your project. Is it fair that you are still on your laptop or on your phone frantically trying to finish your presentation while Adam is up there presenting, while Cookie is up there presenting? Is that what you want happening while you are presenting your project? That other people, because they're not fully prepared by the 26th, that they are still trying to put their project together and adding things to their PowerPoint. And guys, that is not fair to other people. Okay.
And
total absolute 100% deadline. You are done, ready to present, totally prepared by the 26th.
Okay, so these are the dates that we've been talking about. Now with these dates, you see here dates to be confirmed, and that is why I'm going to be 100% honest. Stacy and I are still waiting for visas. We applied for our visas back in March, I believe, March. So we are still waiting, and we are working on that process, but this is one of those things that is not up to us, okay? We are hopeful with these dates and we will continue to keep you updated. These are the dates that we need to plan for, okay? And I would like to take a moment to address my American participants. These are the dates for the presentations that are going to be in Algiers. Okay. Now, I don't believe from looking at my list that I'm not sure who is working with Algerian participants and who is not. We are going to be doing something here in Reno for the American participants to be able to give their presentations as well. Okay. So I want you American participants, please look forward to that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be special. We're not just going to have you, we'll make it fun. All right. And if American participants, if you are working on teams with Algerians, it might be that you give a presentation here and we can try and Zoom you in. I don't know about that yet. Let's wait and see about the logistics depending on who is in what group. But I love to overcome challenges, so we'll figure out a way. Okay. Now let's talk briefly about the instructions for our presentation. You will have 5 minutes to present what you did. That is not a lot of time. So I want you to really think about the most important information that you want to include and to be very mindful, because you're going to have 5 minutes to present and then 10 minutes for questions. And this means that those of us who are going to be listening and watching, you're also going to want to be really focused on someone's presentation so that you can ask them those questions. Okay, this is a two-way street. And then I've got here just things that you want to include when you're giving your presentation, the objective, the dates you did it, and all of this can go on a PowerPoint. These might be bullet point items. Okay, so you're going to need to take a minute to read through this when I send you the email. This is a really important one. The lessons learned. What would you do differently next time? Because that's a reflection that Sampo, for example, that might help you when you implement your next project. And then also, this is also a big reflection one. What did you learn in AYLP or in during activities that benefited you? And then this one is really helpful for your peers and also for future AYLP generations, because if we notice a theme, we can help to put that information into our programming for the next cohort. And this can be something where maybe you realize you need to do additional training and skills development in this area as you continue on your journey. Okay. And you are going to need supporting documentation. So when you're doing your project, take videos, take pictures. Remember, you might need permission about this. Make sure that you check on what are the laws and regulations. For folks that are working with young children, you may need to double check, can you take pictures? You may not be able to put the pictures of children's faces and things like that. So we can talk about this. If you have questions, email AYLP Youth and we'll address this. If you have participants, do evaluations to see how they enjoyed the project, how they felt about it, and make sure that you send a blank copy of that with the presentation if you do evaluations and the results of those, and then comments about how they felt about what they learned or accomplished. These are similar. Remember, we had you do midterm and final evaluations. It could be something like that. You can use those as an example. And pictures might be really good to include in your presentation, and short video clips. And when I'm talking short video clips, remember you only have 5 minutes and you need to include all of this information. Depending on what our groups look like, we may be able to talk about adjusting this time. But for right now, I want you to plan on a 5-minute presentation. Okay. Stacey, is there anything you'd like to add to this? Okay, and again, these documents are going to be emailed to you. Okay. Oh, thank you, Stacey, for including. Okay. Yep, when you're emailing, making sure you do that. And I would say, please make sure when you send an email to us that you include all of the group members' names so that we know that information. All right. We are at an hour and a half for our meeting, which I realize is a lot. And I would like to wrap it up by just thanking you all for coming and for being here. I don't think that we have time to meet in our groups, but it seems like that's going to be okay because groups are still and determination right now. Okay, is there anything that we'd like to add, Stacy, before we finish up? Oh, there is one thing I have. Is I just wanted to recognize that Murad and Tema are here at our meeting. Thank you so much for coming. You are a great resource as well. And now you have all of this information as well. So remember that if it's something that your mentors can, if you have a question about something, or if someone lives in the same Walaya as you, remember you have a wide range of adults that are available to help you. Okay, we have Stacy, we have me, we have Sarah, Emily, who couldn't make it today, we have Murad, Tema, Osama, and also we have Hamza. So when in doubt, email AYLP Youth. Okay, that is the place to go. And then from there, we can help direct you where you need to go. I see that some people have said happy birthday to me. Thank you. It's August 2nd, so I'm a year older, taking my vitamins, and I'm doing okay. And Tema, yeah, Tema said here, you know, we're happy to help you all. Please don't hesitate to contact us. Yeah. So
Hello, everyone. Can I have a word?
Sure.
Okay, so hello, everyone. I missed you all. I hope you're doing great with your community projects. And I was also like happy to see making your community projects much more achievable. Like when we see to the objective you have put into the spreadsheet, I can see that right now you can put those steps into action because your objectives are much more realizable. We can realize it. And as I said, right now we are fully at reach for anything. But maybe for Maria who is in Adrar, or if any one of you wants to do something similar here in Adrar, maybe online or in person. So you can reach out to me and I can help through my school and I will be fully at your reach. So thank you so much. And good luck with your community projects.
Thanks, Murad. All right, Stacy, do you have anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap up? Okay, I just want us to, you know, reiterate and kind of end on, remember, you're going back to school, you're going to be having different experiences. You've had a different experience than your peers. If you need support, I love to hear that you've been talking to each other. Remember, you can talk to Stacy and I. I'd love to hear from you in that capacity of like, if you need help and support, remember you've got Sarah, Emily, and of course, our wonderful mentors, Tema, Osama, and Murad as well. Okay, so be kind to yourselves and to each other. Maria, I see you have a question.
Yeah, I have a question. I already said that I do my project with groups, which is others people should not participate in AYLP. Those people is necessary to present the projects with me in Algiers?
No, they will not need to do that. Our meeting in Algiers, as well as our meeting in Reno, are for the cohort. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sarah? Sorry, Sampo.
Yeah, I just had one quick question. So when we're presenting our projects, who is gonna hear about them? Like, who are we presenting it to? Because some sponsors and partners would like their names to be known. So who's gonna hear about the project?
So at the meeting in Algiers, we'll definitely have all of the participants there, as well as ABCD. And in Reno, what we will do, that's still a work in progress in Reno. I have some plans and I'm hoping that we'll definitely be able to invite family. I'm hoping we'll be able to invite our community partners that y'all met with. And that's kind of a work in progress there. Stacy, could you talk a little bit more about who is usually present for that meeting in Algiers?
Yeah, so we, like Olivia said, it will be hopefully us in person. Olivia and Stacy.
We really hope so.
All of our cohort ABCD, we will not have like funders or sponsors or anybody else there. However, we report back to the Department of State. And we also, with your permission, will use things for social media. So if you have a sponsor, that person or that organization may get mentioned in a social media post that an NIC does that goes to thousands of people, may go in a newsletter that goes to thousands of people saying, you know, so-and-so is working with this company to do their project. We definitely report it back to the Department of State, both in Algiers at the embassy and in Washington, DC, the people that you met at our meeting. So though we don't have sponsors there, their names, especially if you want to work with us to do a bigger story about you working about your project and how you're working with a sponsor, if that will help you get, if that will help your sponsor feel better about sponsoring you, or if that will be a help to them or to you, we are really happy to try to work with you to get a bigger story about that. So yeah, bring it on.
And again, when we're talking about working with a sponsor, please be very mindful of what Stacy and Hamza said about money. Okay, that's really important to think about. Okay. So Cookie, I see you have a question. We're going to take that one. And then any other questions, I'd like you to be talking to each other, trying to make sure you understand everything we've talked about. What questions do you have? Look back at your notes. And then you can always look at the notes and the recording. Okay. And you can email us with questions. So Cookie, what was your question?
Okay, so as you know, we're gonna meet in Algiers, which is kind of far from my city. So my mom kept asking me about the day. So are we going to present our projects and then going back to our houses in the same day? Are we gonna sleep there? Or
so this visit will look similar to what your PDO looked like. Hopefully with us in person though. So where you will go to Algiers, we'll be there for a few days. Let me check on the dates real quick.
Yeah, so you usually arrive on a Thursday.
Yeah.
We present on Thursday evening, Friday, and then depending on if you have more days off because of the Independence Day holiday, we always try to do this around the Martyrs Day that happens the first part of November. If you have more days, we may do a longer meeting so that we have more time together. So you will travel to Algiers. We will again pay for your travel to and from Algiers. So make sure and keep receipts so that we can pay you back for that transportation. If your parents opt to drive you, yes, you will still be given a stipend to pay for their gas and the use of their vehicle. And you will have you'll have the hotel room. We will provide food. We will provide activities. If we can do it longer, we might do a couple workshops or trainings in there. So, but you will, again, stay with the group. It'll just be the group. It'll be the same conditions like Olivia said of PDO, where we're in a hotel together. Now I want to warn you guys, this may not happen in person. I want to repeat that. This may not happen in person. If Olivia and I cannot get visas, it is very difficult for us we are essentially not allowed to have program activities if we are not in country. So what we did with the pre-departure orientation was an extenuating circumstance, because up to 2 days before, we were still hoping that our visas would come back. We were still pushing the embassy to talk to the foreign ministry and to approve the visas. That did not happen, but because we already had everything planned and everything paid, we went through with that PDO without us there. That is not permissible under the program. So if Olivia and I cannot get visas, or Olivia or I cannot get visas, we cannot do this in person, and we would need to pivot to doing it digitally from your homes, which I know would be a major bummer. It would be a major bummer for us. And I want to warn you that it may happen, because we don't have a guarantee at this point that we can get into the country. And like Olivia said, we've been trying since March and are still don't have visas. Unfortunately, it's not up to us. It's not up to the State Department. It is up to the foreign ministry in Algeria. And we are hoping we will be able to do it.
And I just want to, mention again that it is unfortunately not an option for you all to be together in Algiers, and then for Stacy and I to come in virtually. That is not an option for our follow-up meeting, okay, because of the regulations put on this program. And the other thing that I do want to mention is to just remind you all, you are still program participants. So please be mindful of the code of conduct, of how we're talking to each other on social media, in chats, and just continuing to be mindful of that, and be mindful of norms that we had talked about. And those will still apply during the follow-on meeting that hopefully we will be able to have. I do want to just remind everyone of that point. Okay.
Yep. So wish, like Sampo saying, wish it into existence, send good vibes, right?
All right.
And if anybody's uncle happens to be the foreign minister, just
let them know we're really nice. All right. And then I'm sure for the US participants, you're like, wait, what happens if they don't have a meeting? How's this going to work? We will talk about it. And for right now, we are trying to keep ourselves in that really positive mind frame that we are going to be moving forward with this as planned. Okay. All right, y'all, we are going to be wrapping up now. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm very happy to see you. Please don't protest. I'm not sure that's allowed. Like, no, so it's not allowed. Please don't, but I appreciate the sentiment. Good to see you all, and keep an eye on your emails and reach out to AYLP Youth if you need anything. All right, take care. Bye-bye.